They say, well, no, you can't vote for him because he's literally never going to leave office. They're actually still saying that.
Yeah. It's just unbelievable.
But you will leave office after 4 years.
By the way, and I did last time.
Fox News host Laura Ingraham asked Donald Trump flat out, will you leave office? Should you get elected for another term? After those 4 years, will you leave? And as you heard from his answer there, he says, yes, I will leave as I did last time, which makes the answer a little more questionable because he didn't leave easily. Obviously, he did not accept the results of the 2020 presidential election and of course engaged in the fake electors plot. Now, it was an important question for Laura Ingraham to ask him, and I'm happy that she did. It's good that she did it. But I'm curious what you think about his answer, Cenk.
Yeah, it's a terrible answer, and it's going to get worse in a second. But first off, when somebody says, hey, are you going to leave office 4 years from now when it would be your second term? The correct answer is, yeah, of course I am. What kind of maniac thinks I'm not going to leave office? What else would I do? That's such an easy answer. It's the biggest softball in human history. And he hesitates. Why are you hesitating? And then he's like, well, like I did last time. Well, last time you didn't leave. We had to get you out of there with like a crane, right? So last time you had your fans attack the Capitol, you came up with a fake elector scheme, organized a coup. That's what we're worried about, is what you did last time. Yeah. And you can't even give a clear answer. And then the rest of his answers are awful on this issue. You know why? Because he doesn't want to leave. He definitely wants to be a dictator. Everything he says, remember, he has verbal diarrhea. If it's in here, he's gonna spout it out. That's why he says, well, of course I'd like to be a dictator for a day. Well, and we're not gonna have elections next time, Christians, don't worry about it. Oh, so I'm just joking.
Okay.
Hey, don't scroll away. Come back. Because before the video continues, we just wanna urge you to lend your support to TYT. You power our honest reporting. You do it at tyt.com/team, and we love you for it.
So what you just referenced is exactly why Laura Ingraham asked him that question to begin with. So just to set this up, he was at a Turning Point Action event in Palm Beach, Florida. And while speaking at that event, he said something that led to a lot of backlash from Democrats. So you take a look at what this is, how he explains it, and then we'll break it down.
And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed, it'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You gotta get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not gonna have to vote.
Okay, so Laura Ingraham asked him, okay, what did you mean when you said that? Let's take a look.
With respect to like a statement like I made, that statement is very simple. I said, vote for me. You're not gonna have to do it ever again, it's true. Because we have to get the vote out. Christians are not known as a big voting group. They don't vote. And I'm explaining that to them. You never vote. This time, vote. I'll straighten out the country. You won't have to vote anymore. I won't need your vote. You can go back to not
you don't have to vote for you because you have 4 years in office.
Look. Christians are known. You know who else doesn't vote? Gun owners don't vote.
But just to be clear, what you're saying though, you're not saying, it's being interpreted as you are not surprised to hear.
No,
by the left as well. They're never going to have another election. He's saying there's not. So
first time I've even heard.
Can you even just respond to that?
I said Christians. I started off by saying, just so you understand, you never vote. Christians do not vote well. They vote in very small percentages. Why? I don't know. Maybe they're disappointed in things that are happening, but for a long time, I say, you don't vote. I'm saying, go out, you must vote. November 5th is going to be the most important election in the history of our country.
So I know you're not gonna buy it, Cenk, so let me just get my thoughts out before you go off. I believe him. That was my interpretation of what he said at that Turning Point Action event. My interpretation was that he was trying to do similar messaging from what we've heard before from both parties. This is the most important election of our lifetimes. If you want to be politically apathetic, that's totally fine after you vote in this election, right?
Yeah.
That's the sense that I got, which is why we didn't cover the story on the show. But you disagree.
Oh yeah, well, Partly. So, first of all, let's talk about the politics of this and that answer. Then I'll get to the substance of what I think he believes. So, hey, idiot, she asked you 4 times. Just say you're going to leave office after your term is up. She even planted the correct answer in the form of the question twice. And the moron can't spit out, I will leave office when I'm done.
I agree with you on that.
He never said it.
Yeah.
He never said it. And remember, whatever's in his head, he says. It's not in his head. It's not in his vocabulary. It's not in his thoughts. He never ever wants to leave. And he said it 100 times. Whenever he goes to dictators, Kim Jong-un, Xi Jinping, those guys who have unilateral power, even if they're not dictators, Putin, etc. He says, oh my God, they're amazing. People are forced to clap for them. And no one can question them. He's like, I love it. Of course he wants to be a dictator, of course he does. That's why he did a coup attempt against America. That's why last time around he said we should terminate all rules, regulations, and articles within the Constitution. He wasn't kidding. That was in the middle of the coup attempt. Okay, so with that context, for him to not be able to answer, of course I'm going to leave, is a disaster. And if you're a Trump supporter or a Republican, it's a bigger disaster. Because now, for anyone who was in the middle or skeptical, any rational person would have to say, it doesn't look like he wants to leave. It doesn't look like that at all. Now, if you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, and there are reasons why, and so I understand what Anna's saying. So let me explain that part and then come back to my conclusion. So first of all, he's preposterously wrong on how Christians don't vote.
Yeah, I agree.
They're the largest, best voting bloc.
Yep.
He won in 2016 because over 80% of Christian evangelicals showed up in a country where we're lucky to get to 50% voter turnout. Over 80%, they're the best voting bloc. Again, at a bare minimum, total moron, doesn't know anything about the details of politics because he can't read. And so he probably never read the voter turnout for Christians. Preposterously stupid. That's gonna relate to what we're talking about in a second.
Just a quick point on what you just said. I mean, he is saying this to individuals who attended a Turning Point Action event. I would venture to say these are politically motivated individuals. I'm just saying. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and so, but what he might have meant, and knowing Trump, this is plausible, is you're not gonna have to vote again because I'm not running, so I don't give a goddamn who you vote for afterwards.
100%.
I don't care if you get your stupid policies. I don't even know who you guys are or what you want, and I don't care. And I don't care who the next guy who wins is. All I care about is me, right? So he's like, you don't have to vote again because I'm not going to tell you to vote because I'm not going to give a damn, right? So is that plausible? Yes, that's plausible, okay? Now, but it's possible, and I believe that both things are true. That he thinks, I don't care once I leave. You could never vote again, Christians, I don't care. And you could tell that he doesn't care about them because he goes, I love you, you Christians. Oh yeah, I'm a Christian too. Come on, brother. You're making it very, very obvious, okay?
Yeah.
He doesn't give a damn. Now, at the same time, does he want to leave? Well, we have overwhelming evidence. He didn't want to leave last time. He said he's now had 2,000 opportunities to say, obviously I will not be a dictator. Obviously I will leave. And he never, ever says it. Because he doesn't want to leave. Because why? He likes power, he likes winning. So he's like, if I'm the president, I have power. Why would I want to leave that? Of course I don't want to leave that. Yeah, because we have a constitution. And for all of you right-wingers out there who are always, you sound like honestly like blue MAGA. Oh no, Joe Biden's not old, Joe Biden's not old, right? Now the right wing, and for a long time, no, everything Trump says, he never means any of it. So why do you like Trump so much? Because he always means what he says. So which one is it, brothers and sisters? Do you love him because he means what he says, or he never means anything he says? So you always make excuses. I know you, none of you are going to be convinced. No way, he's the world's greatest Christian. And maybe even you might be a little skeptical of that, but he's definitely going to leave. He loves America, even though he says we should shred the Constitution. He loves the Constitution. He's always kidding, ha ha ha, he's trolling. He's not kidding at all. And if he was kidding about this, he definitely wasn't kidding about saying he wants to terminate the Constitution while he was saying we shouldn't follow the rules of the Constitution. I should just get to stay in office. He hates this country.
Yeah, look, after Biden resisted dropping out of the race so aggressively, it kind of became clearer to me, just looking back at history and how history frowns upon single-term presidents, that whether you're talking about a Democrat or a Republican like Trump, they don't want to be one-term presidents. Right? They see one-term presidents as losers, as people who are frowned upon in history books. And so I think that motivated Trump to a large extent. He didn't want to be seen as a loser, but he lost the election in 2020. And to your point about red MAGA being similar to blue MAGA, for me, the litmus test is, are Republicans able to accept that he tried to install fake electors? And if they're in complete denial about that and provide cover for that, well, then you're not engaging in good faith, and it's difficult to have conversations with people like that. But I also think it's important to just see the situation for what it is and not like engage in hyperbole, like that you see.
But it's not hyperbole, Anna, when a guy tries a coup. So
no, he definitely tried a coup. Definitely,
yeah, so
yes.
He can't, by definition, he can't be hyperbole.
But the hyperbole comes in when you hear Democrats say, if he gets elected, that's it. This country is now a dictatorship and he will never leave office.
We don't know that for a fact, for sure. And Democrats lost all credibility when they didn't mind losing to him with Joe Biden.
Exactly.
So I understand all of that. But for me, as an American, when I say that he hates this country, I want to be clear. He has a different version of America than I do. His version of America is we're in charge, and it's like the old days, 1950s. We allow the blacks and Latinos and stuff, right? And we allow some women to go to work, but we're in charge, okay? And when he says Christian, he doesn't mean the religion or spirituality. He means identity. I'm born a Christian. I'm born this way. I need to be in charge, okay? That's what he views as America, but that's not America. America is an idea, it's a constitution. It's the idea that we're all equal, which they despise. That we're all free, which it turns out they despise. No, I'm gonna control your body, I'm gonna control this, I'm gonna have the government do all sorts of things to take over your life, because I'm gonna demand that you follow Christian fundamentalist rules, J.D. Vance, etc. But most importantly, he just doesn't believe that the people should rule and that we should have democracy. He thinks,
yeah, unlike Democrats who definitely think the people should rule. Get out of here, come on.
I know the Democrats and corporate Republicans believe that the donors should rule.
100%.
And they're the servants of those, but we point that out, Anna. But at least you still have elections. Whereas Donald Trump doesn't give a damn about elections or the Constitution. If he could, he would definitely stay in power, because he thinks, why would I give up power? What am I, a sucker and a loser? No, I'd just rather be a dictator, because he doesn't care about the idea of America. He views it as a punchline and a joke for his own personal benefit. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.